Well, hey, everybody, I'm Tim, and welcome to Cigars Daily Live, episode number 300. Yeah. Coming to you from sunny Phoenix, Arizona, with a very merry show. This one is going to be one for the history books, because tonight we've got XMas Sleigh. I still pictured it as cool when I did it. XMas Sleigh. No way. There's no way for me to do it.
No way to make XMas Sleigh sound cool.
No. All right, we've got some festive blends for memorable moments. I hope that all of you are getting ready for those with your family and with some other people that enjoy the amazing flavor and depth of complexity in a very, very good premium cigar. We've got some great ones to share with you guys tonight. Not just the cigars that have lit us up over the last year, but also stuff that's going to be coming out before the end of the year. And that's some of the stuff we want to talk about tonight. Of course, my name is Tim, and I'm the host of this show. And all of you watching at home, you are the co-host. Your comments and questions will drive this episode. We're going to be taking them all the way through this shindig. And to help me with this episode, sitting in third chair tonight is Ryan, the destroyer of League of Bravadas, with a bottle of Flint Knoll. What are you actually drinking tonight?
Not Flint Knoll.
Not Flint Knoll.
You guys talking into the mic when you say that.
Not Flint Knoll.
What was it? What is it?
It's just whiskey and Coke.
It's just whiskey and some Coke.
And a lot of ice cubes.
All right,
Black
good.
and cold.
All right, and running production behind the camera is Billy the Kid and Inspector Gadget. El Rey Del Terra.
Hey, we're gonna get copywritten for that.
Who
Go
said,
Gadget
yeah.
Humidor.
No, I think you can mouth songs.
Maybe.
Like
I don't
a
know.
wrecking ball. Let's just see how many we can do tonight. We'll see. if we
Hey,
get
I
some
like
lawsuits.
I like your channel, Tim.
Go silent every 10 seconds while
Yeah.
you're talking for some reason.
So we've got a lot to talk about tonight, a lot to go through. But first of all, I just want to go back to the fact that Terrence looks exactly like a black Inspector Gadget right now. Which,
Yeah.
by the way, when you came in this morning, I said you look like a GQ magazine cover.
Which I really appreciate. Like I
That
felt
was the
really
nice one.
handsome, and then Ryan comes around the corner and he's like,
Right.
"Dee-dee-dee-dee-dee," and I was like, "Oh, I can't wear a trench coat and peace out work no more, man."
That's a damn shame. All right, we got some good cigars going on in the studio. Billy is ravenously looking at comments here, and I'm going to star some of these too because there's so many good ones right now, Billy.
We've been having great comments recently.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. I see ones that I can't put up either. I see how hard this is for you, Billy.
Yeah, welcome to my.
Oh my gosh, this is hard because some
It's
people
like
say things you
having
can't.
A can of root beer over a MacBook at all times, and you could just like
Mhm.
destroy the show.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You could.
Yeah.
You could very easily do
I
it.
don't know. I thought it was pretty easy. Just kidding, Billy.
All right, Terrence is watching out. Terrence is making his own graphics back there that will get us kicked off YouTube. All right, well, let's start this episode with some comments from the fine people at home. Just a fair warning up front. Sometimes I do voices. Those voices are designed to trigger you. Let's do it. This first one is from Baby Belly. Do cigars cause heartburn or make it worse?
Well,
So-
it probably does because he has a baby belly.
Baby Belly. Do they cause heartburn or do they make it worse? Well, this is a good question. Do you guys get heartburn when you smoke a cigar?
I've never had heartburn, so
Ever?
ever.
Hold on a second. Wait a second. We were literally having this conversation before the show. Billy, who, by the way, is now a medical miracle, has never had heartburn and never lost on the 50-50. Okay. I just want to say, eventually I got to call BS on this. So everybody
I
watching
just
at
don't
home,
know what it would feel like. Like, what does heartburn feel like? I've never felt like my esophagus was on fire.
just like you've never farted and a little something like an
It's
extra
not
Christmas.
happened.
See,
I've
Santa
not
showed
had
up.
50-50.
I've never had heartburn either, but I've lost 50-50s in my youthfulness. I've lost 50-50s.
You're a little young for that.
I am, but it's all right. It's all right.
All right. I lost the 50-50 the other day. Terrible. All right. Well, we're going to discover before the end of the show tonight, we're going to discover what other miracles of modern science Billy's body is rejecting. But no, I don't think that cigars cause heartburn. They don't add anything to your, to your stomach. Basically, heartburn is stomach acid coming up into the old trachea, esophagus. I'm not a doctor. I don't know how all that stuff works. But and I have had heartburn in conjunction with cigars, but I almost always associate heartburn with foods that I have eaten, and not with premium cigars. So unless you're like swallowing the smoke accidentally or something like that, and it just feels like it's burning, I don't think cigars contribute to that. But somebody else could correct me in the comments. If you have smoked cigars, you get heartburn, put it in the comments. Let us know, for the love of God. We got to know. All right, Billy, keep it cruising. What else we got in the comments?
Terrence put it on me for this one.
You alrighty? Yeah.
This is from John Weiss. Billy, call Terrence and see if his shoe rings.
Nope, just
Nope.
my phone.
That's not Inspector Gadget. That's Get Smart.
Is that what it is?
It's a
Is
really
Get
old
Smart?
show.
Yeah, let's get
You know
smart.
too
They also
much.
had a remake with Steve.
I never
Carell.
watched it, but I watched the remake. Yeah, there was a movie that they redid.
Yeah, that was with Steve Carell as the
Yes. And
It was a very good
I
movie.
think The Rock was in it too.
star. Yep, because he missed it by that much.
All right, give me the next one, Billy. Kevin Grulk says, have you guys ever swallowed smoke, and does it differ from inhaling?
Oh,
Yes,
yeah.
because when you swallow smoke, pelican. So when you swallow smoke, yeah, it goes down the esophagus into the stomach. That's uncomfortable. That is actually more uncomfortable than inhaling the smoke. But inhaling cigar smoke is, I still cough a little bit when I do it.
Yeah.
And somehow, like, I keep a lot of smoke in the back of my throat now. Whenever I draw on a cigar, I'll blow out all the smoke. And then my next breath, I'm like inhaling smoke. So like, I got to like exhale twice. For the last week, this has been happening. Something's wrong. Something's broken. Got to go to the doctor. I spit the smoke from Texas Taurus. You would. You would spit the smoke. You just chews it up like, what is Popeye, the one who chews up all the bullets and spits nails or something like that
Yeah.
in the
Popeye.
cartoons? It's before all of our time. Ryan, you should have been the first one off the cuff with this one.
Popeye who?
Popeye what? All right.
That's the guy with the green beans, right?
You know what, Terrence?
Eat some kind of green veggie.
You're way too young to be sharting yourself, sir. And it's spinach. It's spinach. Popeye eats a can of spinach.
I know it's spinach. I was
Sure you did.
Oh, you were playing to your
to my youth.
youthfulness.
Yes.
All right. Keep it going, Billy. Another comment for the people. Mature Black Man says, what do you guys think about the 10-9-8 Cigar Aficionado picks? Oh, boy. It's time to talk about the top 25 list. Here we go. There's a graphic for that, Terrence. Nope, that's not it. That's the one above that
Oh,
one.
goodness.
Yep.
Where's the graphic?
It's a graphic right above that one.
Oh, here it is. Oh, can't click it. Oh my
The
gosh. my
top
finger.
25 list bash. We're super professional here.
Yes.
So it's a bash because there's a ton of them, and there's going to be a lot this year. And because every year we like to bash. Ooh, Cox Communications is calling me right now. Kind of feel like we're using their service right now, and they're calling me. Kind of feel like I should answer, but let's just see if the internet stays up. So this year, top 25 lists are about to descend upon us like locusts from a great curse.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to fall out of the sky. They're going to be in your hair. They're going to be in Terrence's dreads. It's going to be a nightmare. And like every year I make videos bashing these top 25 lists, when in reality, I think that there is some validity to them. And so I want to take a moment to talk about them. And then we'll take your guys' comments as well. So Billy is looking for the best ones. We'll get into Cigar Aficionados. Of course, Cigar Aficionado is sort of the list that gets the most attention. And when I say the most attention, I don't just mean from cigar smokers. I'm also talking about from cigar makers. All the cigar makers are trying to get their cigars on Cigar Aficionado's top 25 list. And to a slightly lesser degree, they want Cigar Journal and Cigar Snob and some of the other publications that are out there. But guys, there are so many top 25 lists. There are some e-tailers that even come up with their own damn lists. Here's the deal. Manufacturers believe that if their cigar gets on Cigar Aficionado's top 25, it's going to be in really high demand. Or at least they try to use it as a selling point for their cigars. Okay, so that's one thing that you got to watch out for. When a cigar gets #1 cigar of the year on Cigar Aficionado's top 25, immediately orders for tens of thousands of boxes of that cigar will come into the manufacturer from cigar shops all over, because everybody wants to have the #1 cigar of the year. And some people are going to come in and ask for it.
Mm-hmm.
We've had Le Bijou. We've had EPCs. Which one was it, Terrence?
Encore and Pledge.
They were number 1 and number 2. Those were separate years.
Yes.
We've had Alec Bradley Prensado in the Churchill, which I believe is on the top 25 this year.
Kind of different format.
In the Torpedo, yes.
Mhm.
And like lots of very good cigars. Padron's 1964 Torpedo.
Yes, sir.
Was that last year's?
It was on a list maybe 2 years ago.
I think it was last year's number 1.
I thought last year's number 1 was the Monte Cristo number 2.
All right, somebody needs to fact check that.
All
We're
right,
gonna need to go ahead and fact check
I'm
that.
doing the Googles right now.
All right, go Google it right now. I want to know what it was last year. So all these lists come out. Here, even we are entertaining this stuff in the studio. Here's the problem with this. You get a list of cigars that's supposedly the top 25 cigars, and they just aren't for most people. If you put together, if I asked everybody watching, what are your top 25 cigars, and you guys meticulously put them into the comments, you guys would get a lot of cigars that don't appear on a lot of the top 25 lists, let alone cigar aficionados. And so every year I sort of like to warn people and lay it out this way. Top 25 lists, there are a few different types. And if you're just getting into cigars, this is really for you. This is what you want to be aware of. How is a list put together? I personally do not do one for Cigars Daily. I just like to slam everybody else's lists. I find that to be much more rewarding and fulfilling. But there's a few different ways to create one of these lists. The first one is a panel-driven list. This is where a few guys put on suits, think very highly of themselves sometimes. They sit at a table. Sometimes they blindfold each other. So, like it's a weird thing. And then they come out with their list of their top 25 cigars. Now, this is not always bad. But if it's a panel-driven list, they should be telling you how they come up with this. Cigar Aficionado says that they smoke their cigars for the top 25 blind, which doesn't mean they blindfold each other, sit in a circle and blindfold each other and have a romantic evening. It does mean that they smoke the cigars without any rings on them, so they supposedly won't really know what it is. Unless you're smoking a cigar like the Andalusian Bull, which got number 1 cigar of the year, and it's the only cigar of that shape. Doesn't matter. Let's keep going. So Cigar Aficionado does it that way. They've got their own points and rating system for that. That's a panel-driven list. And at that point, you're just getting the opinion of some people, okay? Then there's the list of an individual. And there's a lot of these guys out there. Joe Schlubbub does his top 10, top 25 cigars of the year, which are his favorite cigars. And that's not a bad thing if that one person has the same type of palate that you have. If you watch a particular reviewer and their reviews seem to pretty well sync with the cigars you like, their 90+ rated cigars are also cigars you would call 90+ rated, then that top 25 list may very well be relevant to your life. But you kind of got to know it's going to be, might even be a little bit hit or miss for you. The other one, the third type of list, is actually my favorite type of list, and that's the community-driven list. My good friend Eric over at the Oak Glen Tobacconist Cigar Society, they have a community-built list. He literally gets all the people who follow him to come vote on a number of cigars, and they come up with their list that way. I like that because that gets you the most input and the most data. And a bunch of American Viking cigars have won like the top 5 on that list many years in a row. I'm just going to say, there are not a lot of lists that I want to live on. But if it's a list voted on by a bunch of people, well, hell yeah, I want to be right at the top of that list. And so, Billy, get us some comments about top 25 lists, and then we're going to dive into Cigar Aficionado. Sort of trickles these out. Yep. They sort of pepper everybody with these over the next few. I think it's going to be like a month. It's
going to be the next 5 days.
The next 5 days?
Yeah. So I actually have a fact check for us. We were both incorrect technically. Last year it was the Monte Cristo. Or not Monte Cristo. The H. Upmann number 2 that won cigar of the year. In 2021. It was the Padron 1964 Torpedo.
Wow, time is flying. I still thought that Padron Torpedo was last year's.
No, sir.
I'm still patting myself on the back for having them. Okay. Good.
I remember last year on an after party of such, I got complaining that there were a lot of Cubans that were on the top 10 last year.
So yeah, Cigar Aficionado is one publication that will put Cubans on their list, and most of the lists you're going to see don't, especially from the American reviewers who aren't really looking at Cubans and the community driven lists because there's not a lot of real Cubans out there. Go ahead with Kristolheim's comment. He says, "Why is Steve Saka never on Cigar Aficionado's list?" That's a fair question. And another complaint that I have about top 25 lists. Sometimes you find lists maybe from a publication. I'm not going to blame anyone specifically, but there are top 25 lists where ad dollars are an influence, are a contributing factor. I don't know who gets considered for Cigar Aficionado's list. I don't know if it's only brands that have spent money advertising in Cigar Aficionado. I don't think that would be a crazy thing for them to do if they're like, no, we're only going to consider cigars like that we have a relationship with the manufacturer, that we know them, they advertise with us, we review their cigars. There's kind of a connection there. The cigar industry is very much that way. So I wouldn't be surprised to find that out. But I've also never opened a Cigar Aficionado and seen a Dunbarton ad in there. And I don't know if that's something Steve Saka values. At the same time, like every other list is like Dunbarton, Sunday. I mean, you've seen Sin Compromiso, you've seen the Sobre Mesa, you've seen the Brulee Blue, you've seen all of these cigars pop up on the list. And then the one list that in my mind is the list of lists.
Are you going to say the half wheel?
The half wheel consensus list. Half wheel takes a bunch of the top 25 lists out there and then makes a list of the top 25 cigars that appeared across the most of them. That's the one I'll be watching out for. That's the one that I pay the closest attention to personally.
Agreed.
And even they'll half wheel will tell you how they come, like whose top 25 list gets on there. It's got to be like published. They've got a list of criteria for stuff online.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't even know if I came up with a list and just put it in a video, if they would consider that, because it's not written down anywhere. Okay. I want to get some more comments from the fine people at home. Billy, let's do it.
Julie Floor is doing a flex on us tonight.
Oh,
Don't flex on us, Julie. Come on. She says it's 16 degrees in Wisconsin and we're sitting on our porch and John and I are enjoying a Sunday gravy, gabagool, and a grappa and loving them both. Thank you.
Hey, we're over here complaining about 34 degrees.
I know. They're probably wearing t-shirt and shorts too. They're just like,
Probably.
yeah, this is fine.
This is fine.
They're like, there's no snow right now.
There's
We're
nothing
good.
wrong with this. All right, before we go on, I need to know what everybody in the studio has lit up for this episode. What did you guys choose to smoke? Because, of course, tonight you can learn about some festive blends. We got a headlines coming up. We're going to talk about that. We're going to come back to your comments in a second. But some big stuff that you guys can... Oh, did I not put it in there, Terrence? It's there it is. Learn more about the Christmas Sleigh. Some amazing festive blends. You can learn about what blends we're going to be talking about during the after party. Learn about them on the community on Cigars Daily Plus. Go get yourself some incredible extra value in knowledge and education there. All right, Billy, what else are people saying about these lists?
Didn't you want to know what we were smoking?
I guess.
Yeah.
Billy, what are you smoking on?
I've got the Diesel Esteli Pearl.
Diesel Esteli Puro.
Yeah.
So, Billy, you don't typically like stuff with pepper in it, and that's it's kind of a punchy cigar.
I don't feel the pepper.
You don't feel it.
I smoked one last week. I didn't feel any pepper, but it did have punchy / springy flavors to it, but I didn't get any pepper out of it.
Oh.
It's a punchier, but I wouldn't say peppery.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And
All
I'm
right.
pairing it with the Flint Knoll, and it is
With some wine.
fantastic.
Really?
Ooh,
Yeah.
Okay.
So this morning, Aaron Michaelis, the owner of Flint Knoll Wines, him and I did a couple of videos together. I'm really excited about that. I'll be releasing those this week. Ryan, destroyer of Liga Privadas.
I have the EP Carrillo Allegiance Confidant.
I noticed you did not choose a Liga Privada.
I did not.
How is a confidant?
The Confidant is it's dear to my heart. It was my first favorite cigar.
Really?
It was.
Yeah.
Okay.
It
So
was one I was smoking. I went, wow, I really like this. I want another one.
hold on a second, because when you find a first favorite cigar, that is a very special thing. What was it about the Allegiance that captured you, that got your palate, and you were like, yes, this is an aha moment?
It was for me. It was the three little bear, the three bears. Right. It was not too mild, not too harsh. It was lived right in the middle, and it hit my palate just all in the right ways.
Do you find that now you gravitate more toward like middle of the road stuff, that Goldilocks just right?
Probably 40 or 50% of the time, and then the other 40 to 50% of the time, I'm going Maduros. I'm usually darker now.
You know what they say. All right. Keep them coming, Billy. What's the next comment? By the way, before you do that, I'm smoking an American Viking Cigars Obrigado. This is a very, very special cigar to me. Obrigado is. This is the first banded blend that I ever did. And so it means a lot to me. And also the word obrigado is Portuguese. It means, much obliged, thank you. And I'll be honest with you guys. The way that I came up with it was on the back of that red and green card that you get at a Brazilian steakhouse. You flip it green and they bring you food until you get the meat sweats. And then you flip it red. It said, obrigado. Thank you for coming. Something like that.
That's cool.
And I was like, obrigado. I said, that's the name of my next cigar. But also now I find that gratitude plays a colossal part in my personal life and happiness. And so now when I smoke an obrigado, it means so much more to me. And I wanted to smoke it on tonight's show as a huge thank you to all of you. This is episode 300 of Cigars Daily Live. Like, what a
Gerard
cool
Butler going to make a guest appearance?
Yes, he is. He's and some Persians too.
Oh,
Tonight we smoke in hell.
All right, let's get another comment.
Should
Billy,
I pay
what is it?
myself gold and skip down to my draws?
Listen, dude, I'm into it. We'll fight in the shade. Henry Sweeney says, do you spit the smoke flavored saliva or swallow it? It makes me kind of sick, and I'm a new smoker. All right, spitter.
Okay. So
everybody knows a cigar smoking spitter out there.
I used to be a
You used to be.
notorious spitter. I would fill up like half a Dixie cup, or not
Solo.
red Solo cup, until we had Nestor Plasencia on and we were talking to him and I mentioned him and he essentially called me a little girl dog. And
bitch. Yeah.
And that if I was doing that, that's not what you should be doing. Because I spat all the time. I don't do it anymore.
So there a lot of people who smoke cigars will spit. And yeah, if you ask Nestor Plasencia, he'll call you a puss dog. I mean, he really will. But he grows tobacco for a living. He smokes cigars probably from the moment he wakes up till the moment that he goes to bed, whenever he wants to. This is his life. So he's going to have more of a rugged view on it, I think, than a lot of us will. Personally, I think if you spit when you smoke cigars, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You do got to watch where you put your Solo cup, because the first time your wife drinks out of that Solo cup is the last time you're going to be smoking a cigar. Also, I wouldn't be too turned off by the like nicotine spit thing. Or the nicotine saliva thing. It's not that big of a deal. I got Teresa Chappelle here says, I never spit. Oh, dear God. Sorry. I was processing as I pulled that one up. Teresa, you're a champ. Okay.
You know what they say, spitters are quitters.
I don't.
We don't
now
quit,
this is just super dirty. Now that Teresa said it, now that's all I can think about. I spit at home, swallow in public from Dalton Hopkins. Dalton, dear God. Spit, and eventually you'll get it all over everything. Or eventually you get over it eventually. Yeah, spit. Okay. Yeah.
You spit all over everything eventually.
I can't even read. Spitfire is on. If you're going to spit, then just do the chew. I think that's fair. All right. And sweet fat bottom Alice says, always swallow. Okay. That's
okay, guys, come on.
Teresa got me. She's like, yeah, sucker. All right, what is that? I'm gonna grab this from Tyler Colson. Evening, my lads. Question for y'all. When dry boxing in the winter, Northeast United States, right? Should I be doing it for longer or shorter amount of time based on the temperature? What you say around the studio, boys?
I'd say it's based on more of the humidity than the temperature, isn't it?
Straight up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that lower humidity will cause the transmission of humidity to slow. So potentially, if it's really cold outside, you may need a dry box for a little longer if the cigars are particularly moist. But if I think you're going to have less of a chance of the cigars being over humidified in the winter, as it's just harder for cold air to hold that humidity. So I would say probably, and you're going to be doing this by trial anyway. You're going to set it in there for an hour, try it out, see how it is, and kind of dial in your time. I would imagine it would slow down a little bit during the winter. That's all I got to say about that.
We got to go down super chat row.
Okay.
Super chat row. Espentai Hansen says, Merry Christmas, guys, and all the great content you give us. You're welcome.
Merry Christmas.
Thank you, Espen. We appreciate it, brother.
We got
Appreciate
one
that a
more.
lot. All right, another super. Thank you for the super chat. Texas Torres says, "We want to see the new calendar pics." Listen,
Oh my
Listen.
gosh. Oh
I did
my
not
gosh.
put the new calendar pics in this show. We got them this week. Someone, who was it? Terrence, was it Texas Torres?
It was Texas Tourist, but I'm not going to expose his government name because he doesn't like us to do that.
Yeah, I don't want to do that either. I saw them. Terrence made me look at them. There are some things that you can't unsee.
The Ryan one, oh my god!
Yeah. I don't know if
How'd
they
you
got
know he
taken-
had chest hair? Like, oh wait, we had.
It's funny because actually that one isn't far off.
Oh, I gotta show
it just
Billy
needed to be
his.
taller, and it actually would have
How
been pretty
Greek?
damn accurate.
How Greek are you?
I
You got a
don't-
lot of hair.
I don't know how Greek I am.
All right.
I don't even know that I am any.
You guys keep running. I'm gonna show Billy his picture from the. I forwarded the email to my personal one.
Oh my gosh. All right. Well, tonight is the XMas Sleigh episode. You guys can learn a lot about some great Christmas cigars. And of course, instead of doing the calendar picks, I do want to bring you guys a great picture from the Cigars Daily Nation Facebook group tonight in the segment we do every week called the Cigars Daily Nation Pick of the Week. Then, by the way, this is a huge tangent. We got to go back to the top 25 list thing, and we got to pick on Cigar Aficionado. But this one's coming to you from the Facebook group. This is just a heartwarming, great picture from David P. He said, "Filthy Viking and fire trucks. No better way to end a busy Friday evening." He's absolutely right. There he is smoking inside the firehouse, which seems like a bit of a fire hazard, maybe. Sitting right next to the fire truck, and just nothing makes my day more than seeing. I've seen a lot of people in the Cigars Daily Nation smoking Filthy Vikings over the last week. It's just like, is it exactly the pickup I need during this time of year when it's so unbelievably busy and there is so much going on. So thank you all. You guys can join the Cigars Daily Nation Facebook group. It's not easy to get into, but it is the largest group for cigars on Facebook. And it's a great place to share your passion for cigars with other aficionados. All right.
The picture was funny because, like you said, it's like, wasn't that a fire danger? Of course, but they're firemen. So if any place was to happen to catch on fire, they'd be equipped for
They
it.
would be there.
But what if it actually did burn down? What if your own firehouse, you're a fireman, and your firehouse burned down?
That would take away some of the joy that I think I would get from seeing people smoke Filthy Vikings. I'd be like, don't smoke those at home. They're a fire hazard.
Even firemen couldn't put it out.
All right. Back to the top 25. So I gave you guys the different types of top 25 lists. There's the panel driven, the individuals list, and then the sort of crowdsourced list out there. Of course, Half Wheel's consensus list is kind of a list of its own. But Cigar Aficionado did just put theirs out. This is the one everyone pays attention to. We did talk about the fact that, yeah, you've never seen a Dunbarton cigar on Cigar Aficionado's list, which I think is interesting. There's a growing segment of the cigar world. A lot of you guys expect to see Dunbarton put into those lists. I can't make a top cigar list without putting a Dunbarton cigar on it, which is crazy. Whether it's top cigars for Christmas, where I just did that and put the Stillwell Star Holiday Y23 on there, or the top, full power strong cigars, which definitely the Red Meat Lovers Club would go on there, or the best Connecticut's, which you couldn't make that list without putting the Brulee on there. The only way I'd be able to make a list and not put a Dunbarton cigar on there is, the top Honduran cigars or the top cigars that are also not Dunbarton cigars. If I made that list, probably still would have a Dunbarton on it. All right, let's keep cruising. Grab me one more comment, and then we're going to look at 10, 9, and 8, right?
Yes.
All right. And then they put out 25 through 11 at the end, don't they?
Yep.
They just kind of they shart that one out at the end. What's going on, Billy?
You know what you should do?
Yeah. Well, we got in. You know what you should do?
Yep.
Give it to me. Somebody's thought about what I do in a way that I haven't thought about it before. I love that. Thank you. You should make a video smoking the same cigar kept at a different relative humidity, 58, 62, 65, 69, 72, and report your preferences. Any video about this kind of experience? I don't know if I've done a video about this.
I don't think you have either.
What I would be most inclined to do is simplify this, because thank you, Javidia. As somebody who does a lot of this stuff, content has got to be easily digestible and accessible. And if you make it too complicated, then it sucks. And so what I probably do is smoke one at 72% and one at 65% and just tell you the difference there, which for the most part, I can just tell you what the difference is now. Like at 72%, the cigar itself will be softer, a little bit spongier. It'll feel almost squishy. At 65%, it'll feel drier, a little bit more brittle. And maybe even like the oils on the wrapper will come out a little bit more because it won't just be as wet. But then the flavors are going to be brighter, crisper, clearer in the 65% one as opposed to the 72% one. I know this because my preference on humidity has changed so much. I used to be a 72% guy. Always thought, like a lot of people think, more is better. Of course, more humidity is better for cigars. If they're just, the squishier they are, the better it is for me. Definitely, I've gravitated toward the dryness. At home, I keep my personal humidor at 66% humidity. And that's where the thing is at since I installed it a few months ago. So yes, I can make a video like that. You know what you should do? All right, let's take a look at them. Cigar Aficionados, number 10, 9, and 8. Here we go. What do we got? 2023. Starting at number 8. No, starting at number 10. El Pulpo Belicoso a Grande, which pulpo is octopus. I think that one is made by those guys that made the Terrence. Do you know it? Do you know the name of it?
No.
It was
That's
one
a kick-ass band.
It was a brick and mortar only brand, and it was distributed by AJ Fernandez. Somebody's going to get it in the comments before I grab it. What was that cigar?
Yeah,
Crap.
no,
I have to go. I have to find it because
was it like a fallen angel or anything like that?
No, I have to go to AJ Fernandez price list and see what it is because otherwise it's going to drive me absolutely nuts. Did they stop distributing it? Viva La Vida. I think that's made by the same guys that make Viva La Vida. Okay. Number 9 is La Aroma de Cuba Mi Amor in the Bellicoso size. And number 8 is the Alec Bradley Prensado Torpedo. Interesting to see the Alec Bradley Prensado land on this list, as Alec Bradley is in the middle of a crossover between, Alan Rubin selling Alec Bradley to Scandinavian Tobacco Group. Now, overall, this shouldn't truthfully impact the cigars. They're for the most part made at Raíces Cubanas Cigar Factory in Honduras. And so what STG bought when they bought Alec Bradley should pretty much keep the brand consistent. It's kind of running. STG definitely paid for number 8 from Cigar Socks. Will you leave that up there for a second, Billy? I can speak to this for a second. Do you guys think that you can buy a spot in Cigar Aficionado? What do you guys think? If you had to say, would you think it could happen? You can be honest.
Yes.
Personally,
immediately everybody's got Terrence.
I don't think you can buy a specific spot. I could say they could probably pay a set amount of money and then make sure it's on the list.
I did say that it's very relational. Well, I'll say this. All indications I have from the people in the cigar industry I've spoken with and people who I consider to be in the know is that you cannot do that. You cannot buy your way onto the list. You can't spend so many ad dollars to get on the list. Now, I think that maybe there's an unspoken that if you spend X dollars, you sort of expect to be seen on the top 25 list. But I don't think you can guarantee placing. Although I mentioned this in previous years, I do have cigar makers coming to me telling me oh yeah, you should order a bunch of this because it's going to be in the top 5 this year. But then it never is. That's the thing. Like the cigars, they say they're going to be in a specific spot on the list. They never get that spot. So I don't know.
They're just telling you what they got a lot of.
I also noticed that this year it's a lot of Bellicoso / torpedoes, which are not common sizes. So personally, I just think that they'll talk to the maker beforehand and be like, "Hey, what size do you have, or what shape do you have the most in your warehouse?"
But here's the thing: I know for a fact that's not the case, and here's why: because these brands they hate it. Getting the number 1 spot on Cigar Aficionado's top 25. It is as much of a blessing as it is a curse. Because like I said, the moment that number 1 cigar comes out, and even the top 5 positions on the list, those brands will get so many orders for that cigar, they can never fulfill them. And if you're watching this at home, maybe you're a new cigar smoker, maybe you don't even know, orders for a cigar don't matter. What matters is what ships. That's all that matters, right? Yeah. So the year that Andalusian Bowl got number 1 on the list, well, they've only got 2 or 3 people that can make that cigar. They were only making what is it? It's a few thousand boxes a year of the Andalusian Bowl they're making, but they got orders for tens of thousands of boxes. That did LFD no good when they got that number 1 spot on there. So there was no cohorting between LFD and Cigar Aficionado for that. It literally hurt LFD more than it helped them. I think, because everybody was pissed off about that. Shops would call in and order 50. I mean, brick and mortar shops, small brick and mortar shops would be ordering 50 boxes, 100 boxes, and then they'd get 2. And then 6 months later, they'd get 2 more. And it was just like you had this amazing cigar you wanted to put out there. All right, let's get a bunch more comments. I want to get a lot of them because they're the co-hosts. Let's see what they want to talk about. Chris Sosa, thanks for joining us from Facebook. How exactly does one go about getting in touch with a distributor? I manage the Martini Bar in a distillery. Okay. We recently acquired our tobacco license and have had zero luck getting a cigar rep or company, for that matter, to return my calls and emails. Is there a bat symbol or something? Okay. Leave that up for a second. This is a weird one. So if you want to get a hold of a distributor, you just call Phillips and King, Meyer Dutch. Like, they're the guys that really distribute cigars. If you want to get a hold of a cigar rep, what I would do if I was in your shoes, you're probably calling the office, and the office is sometimes overwhelmed. Did he say anything about where he is?
No.
If you're in a state where there's not a lot of cigar shops, you probably don't have an area rep that's even in your city, maybe even in your state. And so it can be like in some states where there's only a handful of cigar shops, the reps go there like once a month and they just kind of pass through. So if there's another cigar shop that you're remotely friendly with that will give you the name of one rep, then usually from that rep, you can start getting the names and phone numbers of other reps. And those guys are pretty good about helping you. Morseville, PA. Oh, shoot, PA? That should be easy. There's a lot. Like, all those guys are over in PA. Well, the big retailers are. Yeah, I'd be reaching out to somebody else in the industry at a different level, not straight to the manufacturers. I would go to somebody who's I'm friendly with, or go to a cigar event. See if there's another, competitor that's running a cigar event, and the rep will be there usually for those events, and just shake his hand, tell him who you are. Maybe ask the cigar shop if you can do that before you go over there. But that's not a bad way to go. All right, Billy, let's get another good one. Here we go. This comment's coming our way from Havana Hasher. I don't believe that's the case, because Nick Melillo at Foundation wouldn't have made the list with the wise man. Whoa. And from his interviews, he doesn't have cash to buy a spot. All right, leave that up for a second. So he says, I don't believe that's the case because Nick Melillo at Foundation wouldn't have made the list with the wise man. I'm guessing he's not a fan of the wise man. That's what it says.
Or I think he's just saying, hey, he didn't buy his spot. He earned his spot.
But I also think there's a grain of like, this cigar is so damn good that it deserves to be talked about, even with Cigar Aficionado.
He's also got Joe Rogan money, so
he's got that Joe Rogan money. I don't know if he gets money from that. What's weird is that he's never been on Joe Rogan's podcast.
He has not, which is very weird.
They're like homeboys.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd think that you could have a really great episode of the Joe Rogan Experience talking about cigars, and Nick would be the guy for that.
Has he ever had a cigar manufacturer on the Joe Rogan Experience?
Could you imagine Nestor Plasencia on the JRE? That'd be tight.
That would be dope. We'll have to nominate people to go to Joe Rogan's podcast. I'll text him later.
You're essentially the same level, so why don't you just call Joe Rogan?
Yeah, I'll just.
You know what you should do.
Yeah, all the biggest YouTubers have each other's. I mean, after you get 250,000 subscribers, they text you Joe Rogan's phone number. All right, let's go ahead and grab some more comments. Give me the next one. I agree with you. Yeah, I don't think Nick Melillo's doing the pay to play thing, nor do I think he would do that. All right, Tony Bruno. Hey, CD gang, long-time listener, first caller. I bought the 8L King-Chi thermoelectric humidor and did everything you suggested with distilled water, and I can't get the humidity lower than 90%. Whoa. I'm going to take this thing off.
Leave the door open.
Yeah, you're going to want to start by leaving the door open on that thing. First of all, open the door, leave it open, let the thing air out. It sounds like there's a chance. Did you season the shelves? And if he drops another comment, Billy, and you catch it on it, then let me know. If you seasoned the shelves or added extra humidity of any kind, that would be the reason that thing is hitting 90%. It shouldn't be, but I would let it air out. Like, take your cigars, put them in Tupperware, set them aside, and then put together a dry out system. Open the door, leave it open, and then maybe put some 65% Bovida packs in there.
Mhm.
That should even the damn thing right out. Homestar Runners in here is forget about it. Hey.
Forget about it.
All right, another comment. Let's change the topic of this direction of this conversation. John Weiss, are you guys going to do a show next week? Tuesday, maybe? Yeah, I think we decided before the show. You guys okay with the Tuesday show?
Sure.
It's like what I'm here anyway. Yeah, we're gonna do the show on Tuesday next week. We're gonna move it for Monday because Monday is Christmas next week. We'll do Tuesday.
Boo.
Yeah, I know.
I'm celebrating Kwanzaa on Tuesday, Tim.
All right, good. We'll all do it. I'll bring my dashiki. All right. It'll be our last episode. All right. That's not true. Nancy Pelosi wore dashiki. She didn't get canceled.
There you go.
It was fine for her.
There's a big TikTok trend of like, I'm not gonna say anything. Try not to get us canceled, but there's a certain group of people wearing dashikis doing.
Let's talk about it in the after.
Yeah.
Forget about
Next comment.
it.
Forget
Coming your
about
way.
it.
Forget about it. Andrew Rice says, just bought this year's and last year's Stillwell Holiday Star to smoke Christmas Day. How do the blends compare and which one should I start with? That's a great question. If you want to learn more about the Stillwell Star Holiday Y23, definitely, you got to take that name. You definitely check it out. The XMas Sleigh is going on Cigars Daily Plus. Learn more about some very festive blends. You guys can see over here that the Stillwell Star Holiday Y23 is on there, along with the Cactus Wren. That's an extremely limited edition cigar. The Filthy Viking is in there. The Partagas Cortado, the Joya de Nicaragua, Antonio, Connecticut, and then, of course, the EPC that Ryan, Destroyer of Liga Privadas, is smoking tonight and enjoying. It was one of his aha moment cigars.
We're going to have to circle back to an earlier topic.
Okay. Did I answer the last comment, by the way?
Sure.
Terrence is dressed like Carmen Sandiego.
I'll take it. I will take it. I will take it. Any of those cartoon heroes from back in the day, I'll take it.
I love that. You do.
Thank
You look
you.
beautiful.
I appreciate you.
All right. Keep going, Billy. We got a lot of good comments. And then we're going to dive into a couple of headlines before we head over to the after party. Now, if you're joining the community on Cigars Daily Plus, that's where we'll go for the after party in just a little bit. More of this show is going to happen there. We'll end it on YouTube and have more freedom and less internet censorship to keep the episode cruising. All right. Real quick, though, Rooster says, what's under the coat, Terrence? What is under the coat?
I can't remember the brand of the sweater, but it's just a maroon sweater and then a Brooks Brother pink button down.
It's Bill Cosby.
You took that one way too literally. All right.
Oh, I thought they cared about the outfit. My bad.
Rob
sweater.
McFadden, best cigar to sit out on the porch and avoid the in-laws during the holiday season. All right,
Woody.
guys, here's what I need to
Any
know.
cigar.
I want to hear from around the studio. I talked about this I did a video on Saturday afternoon. I posted it. It was sort of like best cigars for the holidays in 2023. And it's on the channel. You can watch it now. And I said, when everybody gets too lippity, too uppity, too all about the politics and all about the BS that happened this year, which, by the way, when I'm around people who are opinionated on politics, it's a button that I can't not push.
Oh, you love to push that.
I have to do it. Doesn't matter what side of the aisle you're on. I'm going to push that button. And I just want fire. I told everybody, spike the punch hard, spike the eggnog hard, go outside, have a cigar, wait for everything to cool down. The question is this for the studio. I'll ask you guys here. It's Christmas Day. Aunt May is there. And she is really upset with, the soap in the bathroom. And she's bitching everybody out for it. What are you going to go outside and smoke? Beautiful Christmas Day in Arizona, by the way. It's going to be beautiful this year for us.
Yeah, like 62 degrees, sweater weather.
Ozzy says the Woody.
Yep.
Okay,
I agree. That's what I. Yep. Get away from
He don't like his family.
Matt Klern says a big one that takes a long time. That also is the Woody.
Yes.
Yep,
June
I'm
Buck
still
says
out
maybe
here
a 10 by
smoking.
100. These are people who really don't like their in-laws
Right?
a lot. All right, my
That's
in-law,
what I thought. That's what Thanksgiving for is to hang out with the family you don't like, and then
That's right.
Christmas is when you hang out with everybody you do.
I'm literally intentionally going to hang out with my in-laws this year, but also my in-laws are my business partner and shipping manager. So I love them. Well, they're going to smoke cigars together and have a great time. All right. CAO Flathead 7x70 from Nathan Carr on Facebook. Thank you. Gabe says CAO Flathead V660 carb. That's a great cigar.
I'm not going to go size. I'm going to do something that's stinky. So not like the still.
A social distancing
because
cigar.
like the woody still has a good, pleasant aroma to it.
Yep.
You got to do something stinky, which I'm trying to think of what a really stinky.
You know what? I know a cigar, and it's not necessarily stinky, but it has a mad distinctive smell because I smell it all the time, and that would be the Diesel Vintage Series.
Bro,
I could just smell it somewhere in HQ, and I'm like, Tim smoking a vintage. And I know sometimes I'll smoke something, or Ryan said one. It was a Rico Barado Maduro. He's like, ew, that stinks. And I was like, all right, let me get away from him. But something with a distinctive smell where somebody can't necessarily put their finger on it, and they'll just stay away.
Homestar's got it. Kane F. That's a get
Ooh.
the hell away from me cigar right there.
I smoked one this morning.
It should be called the Cane FU.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Get a leave on the phone.
Big Johnny from John Weiss. And by the way, there was a comment earlier that I didn't get that I didn't even answer. I thought so. What order would you smoke the Stillwell Star Holiday Y22 and Y23 in? I would smoke the Y23 first, and then I would smoke the Y22.
Agreed.
Hands down.
I would do that.
Yeah, the
too.
Y22 is more. You had the graham cracker, cookies,
Yeah.
spice.
Yes. And
All
the,
the
and the
stuff
Y
I love.
the Y23 is great. I've smoked several of them. It's got this really nice, what I call a peppermint note. But then the Y22 it's something else. It's I like that one. All right. Let's see. We got a lot more of these. Rooster says a Gurkha.
Which one?
Terrence.
Terrence threw up his
A
mouth.
cheroot smells like dog doo-doo from Mr. Joshua.
What's that smell?
Good job, Billy. You made popular a cigar that people can use to keep other people away from them.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. I did everyone a big flavor. All right. The Big Texas Taurus says the Big Johnny is great, by the way, and it is a great cigar.
Agreed.
All right, we're going to come back and we'll talk about this a little bit more. Keep dropping your cigar comments and questions down below, but I want to make sure I don't run out of time to talk about some exciting stuff that's coming out before the end of the year. That's another 20 days. It's like 3 weeks and the year is over, and then another 3 weeks and the world is going to end if you've been watching the news. So
It's
we've
actually
got
only 13 days.
13 days.
Yeah, it is 18.
What am I doing? It's the 18th. Oh, I was counted wrong. If it was the 8th, it would be 3 weeks.
Right.
So 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. Okay. Less than 3 weeks is the end of the year. There's still some cigars that are going to be hitting the shelves. And so we're going to talk about some Cigars Daily headlines. These articles coming from Half Wheel, the home of the top 25 consensus list, the one that I like to read. The first one is a anticipated release, an annual limited edition release that goes faster than. Need someone help me here?
Usain Bolt.
Thank you. Everything I was thinking of was inappropriate.
Faster
What you
than
said
Dom's
was-
Charger.
Thank you.
Yeah, let me just put it up for you.
It's a very fast limited edition cigar. Anyway, Aganorsa Leaf Supreme Leaf Perfecto shipping next week, which is weird because I think I might actually already have tracking on that. So I think their timing is off. I think that will be here this week.
Agreed.
But this is one cigar that comes out. I think they make like 2,010 count boxes, and they're literally gone in a second. It is one of the fastest limited releases. I literally will do anything Terrence Riley asks me to get those, and anything. I mean anything. And he's very gracious with me.
You
but if
remember
it's-
last time you told Terrence Riley you do suggestive favors for him, and he just sent you the gif of Homer Simpson just hiding in the shrubs?
Yeah,
like
that's right.
I
don't know why
anything.
I'm always offering that to Terrence Riley specific. He is a
Matt
handsome.
Booth would take you up.
Matt Booth would take me up on that. By God, I would never offer to do anything with that guy because based on his last appearance on the show, we all know what that would be.
Matt Booth would do anything twice.
yeah. All right, let's keep going. So that's one. You want to know about that? If you're a big fan of Aganorsa, or if you just love that Supreme Leaf, they're going to be here very soon. And when they hit, they'll be gone. It's just going to go like that. The other one is, especially if you are a big fan of aromatic blends like the Stillwell Star, like Drew Estate's Deadwood cigar, which I hesitate to even mention in the same breath as this next article. So now what I'm doing as I'm talking is vamping to try to disconnect what I just said. Asylum 867. Okay. Asylum Cigars, obviously very well known for their big ring cigars. They have rebranded the Asylum 867, and it's heading out to stores now. So I do have some of this on the way to my humidor, but this is a line of aromatic cigars that if you guys haven't read online, there was a big debacle about what the name of this cigar was going to be. There were lawsuits, so I'm not even going to talk about it here. You can ask about it on the after party if you want to know. They had to do a bunch of rebranding with it, and very, very excited to see this blend of aromatic cigars hit the shelves. So aromatic cigars, not quite infused, not quite not infused, somewhere in the middle, much more akin to what you'd expect from a pipe tobacco. The kind of cigar that when you light it up, people around you are like, oh, that smells actually really good, because it does have this very aromatic, nice aroma to the cigar. 867 coming out. I haven't even tried any. I haven't even had samples of the thing, but I got a ton of it. If Deadwood, if Stillwell Star, some of the other aromatic stuff out there is any indication, this cigar is going to smash super duper hard. It's going to smash, it's going to spit, it's going to swallow, it's going to do all the things.
Yes, please.
Stillwell Star. All right, Dan Robinson says, Stillwell Star, Deadwood, ew, not real cigars. All right, Dan Robinson, let's let him have it. Dan, you put it out there. This is the internet. I want that comment back. You leave that comment up, Billy.
You leave that right.
Of course they're real cigars. Of course they are. You just don't like them, and that's okay. You don't have to like them. But I got to tell you, based on the data that comes in, the data that I have access to as to what cigars people like to get, they sure as hell are cigars. And you know what? I got to say, I thought about it exactly this way before, because, I was talking with my gal from Drew Estate, who was my connection with Drew Estate. And she told me about this cigar it was probably the first year we were doing Cigars Daily, back when we were in that crappy little white building, about 20 minutes from here, our first location. And she comes to me with this little 10-count box that says Deadwood on the top. And she goes, you should try these Deadwood cigars. And I was like, no. And she explained it to me. She explained it exactly this way. She said, they're not quite infused. They're not quite not infused.
They're steeped.
They're steeped. And I was like, oh, gosh, no, I don't want to. No. And she said this to me. She said this to me a couple of times. Just try it. Just try it. She said the same thing to me about factory smokes.
Mm-hmm.
I was all butthurt about factory smokes. I don't have the factory smokes. These bundles are going to take up a ton of space. And anyway, I will say this. Now, Deadwood cigars and factory smokes, I have to order oftentimes by the thousands when I get them, because they are that popular. So you can say, ooh, they're not cigars all you want, but based on how people feel about them, they sure as hell are. All right, keep going. And some people, like Texas Taurus here, says, I used to be a huge into Deadwood. And that is the experience for some people. For some people, it is the introductory to cigars. And then you find your way into the traditional stuff, like the Obrigado from American Viking that I'm smoking right now. You find that nice, rich, natural complexity and flavor, and you can appreciate that. I don't know, maybe even more. I don't know.
So it's a gateway cigar.
It's a gateway cigar. I was trying to steer away from that, but now that you said it, it's a gateway cigar. Okay.
Dan, also, you might not like it, but your wife might. So,
bro,
don't knock it till you try it, brother.
Don't knock it till you've tried it. Thank you, Terrence, the voice of reason. All right, Billy, we got time for more comments. Let's do it. We're going to head over to the after party in just a little bit. That's where you guys can learn more about some amazing Christmas blends with XMas Sleigh. Chris R. says she got you with the old just the tip trick.
Ah, she did.
What
Your
was this in
gal
reference to?
with the Drew Estate.
The Deadwood.
Usually that's the guy's trick.
Just the usually okay, very good. She did get it. She did
hit it with a little reverse psychology. She's like, just try it.
Just try it.
Just get an inch in and just tell me
if you don't like it, I'll stop. And now look at me. Pregnant with cigars. All right.
We got to go back to an injustice that was done tonight.
That's wrong.
Oh, no.
And I don't. Terrence has lost it over here. All right, Billy, read this one for me. I got to puff on my cigar. I'm talking too much over here. Go for it.
This is from Ben Strongy. Damn, you all just going to sip Terrence like that.
What did we skip?
It was what everyone was smoking in the HQ tonight.
No, we definitely skipped Terrence.
Yeah, no.
All right, dude, what are you smoking? What's El Rey del Mundo are you smoking tonight?
It wasn't part of the XMas Sleigh, okay?
I'm having a Puro Especial from AJ Fernandez, the New World, and it is hitting on every cylinder that I want to. I'm pairing it with the Fentanyl wine, and let's just say I'm a little bit more lit than normal.
Yeah.
Billy poured me a large cup.
It is Christmas.
I thought this bottle had more in it earlier.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this is gonna be a fun after
if you've,
party, y'all.
if you've watched the show for long, you know that it is Christmas and Terrence is drinking. And we did talk about Kirker earlier, so and cigar aficionado.
On Urkel game, man.
I'm a big fan of that. All right, Zachary Figueroa. Deadwood stay in the humidor with my regular cigars.
Ooh,
I don't know, Billy. What do you do? Yeah, I want to hear what Terrence has to say. But Billy actually has some Deadwoods. Does your wife smoke Deadwoods? Or
She does.
She does
Okay.
smoke Deadwood. My wife does as well. So I have some at home, but I want to hear from you guys first.
Go ahead, Terrence.
So I'm gonna put this back on you, brother man. If you I'll answer this email every now and again, but if you tend to hold on to them and are more of a slower smoker, and I mean for like long-term storage, months at a time, when you have Deadwood cigars, I would then recommend to put them in separate humidors or keep them separate from your other cigars. But if you smoke them, you burn and churn like most people do, I would say keeping them in the same humidity and same environment would be fine. Billy?
I keep them in a little like glass standing Tupperware.
Okay.
Just because it's for my wife and she does not smoke them as often. So I keep them in the same humidor, just in a little glass bucket by themselves.
So like she's special. She's like, oh, I get to open this.
She
and
has her
go in
special
here.
little section.
Okay, yeah.
Which don't you have a special little section for Allison in a glass?
Yeah, I mean the Deadwoods that she has, I usually keep them in a box. I just I get a 10-count box of whatever she wants, or a tin of the Baby Janes.
Yeah.
She really likes those a lot because, like, when I go smoke a cigar, I'll go out in the backyard and I'll put a fire in the fire pit because that is my happy place. When I'm out there in a fire, all the dogs are
Is that
snarling.
where you go when you need to make a putt?
Make a putt.
Yeah, make a putt to win to buy your grandma's house back.
Yes.
Okay.
When I need to buy my grandma's house back, there's a granny wearing a leotard, and I'm like 100% good.
Yeah.
At it. It is my happy place, and so
What
I'll go
golf
back.
course
to
do you play at?
that one with that guy who lost his hand to an alligator. What was his name?
Oh man.
Gibbs?
Somebody in the comments is gonna know.
Oh,
immediately.
from
Happy Gilmore.
Happy Gilmore.
Somebody, like some people at home are still just clicking with that.
Wasn't that Apollo Creed?
Yeah.
That was Apollo Creed.
What was his name? What was his name in the movie though? All right, let's keep going. Yes, I would keep the Deadwoods separated. Okay. Keep going, Billy. We got some more comments. I'm looking at the comments too. I'm gonna grab Chubbs. Thank you, Ben. Thank you, Ben.
I was Googling
Ben
right
is
now.
looking out. Ben is looking out serious. All right.
We got a question.
Well, I want to get Luke Martineau says, Tim, when is the King? When is the update on the King Chi coming? Been waiting for part 2. I just keep dialing it in, and now all I have to do is put some more cigars in it, and then I'll be bringing that to you guys. I've been using it for the last few weeks, so I'll make a video pretty soon.
Yay.
This I've had it. Ever since I keep this comment up, Billy. Ever since I went to Miami and did the Cigar Heartland tour and did all those videos on the Cigar Heartland, I had a massive backlog of content to put out. So over the last month, I've been putting all that stuff out. Tracy T says, "Hi Tim, I'm a lady smoker and love Drew Estate Latte, but need a new smoke. Any suggestions? Happy holidays." Guys,
Tabak Especial.
Tabak Especial from I'm going to give you mine, by the way, Tracy. And Billy, his wife smokes cigars. My wife smokes cigars, so I'm going to let the room have it first, and then I'll come back in at the end. Go ahead.
Macanudo M
Ooh.
or the espresso
yeah.
or any of those coffee flavors.
You guys
Yes,
gotta take my
yes.
favorite
or
ones.
the flavor.
Fulver.
Which one?
Ski
Ski Chalet and
Ski Chalet's that sugar cookie one. That is pretty
yeah,
solid.
that one's good.
If you like the chocolate and mint, the Space Ranger's pretty solid.
Space Ranger.
Yeah.
What else is there?
I would also say Unicorn Tears. I don't know what they did with that one, but it tastes like birthday cake cupcakes.
So
they
all
made,
these
they made a
ones
unicorn cry.
All these ones they're talking about: Ski Chalet and Unicorn Tears and Space Ranger. Is that the other one?
Yeah.
And Fist Bumping Yacht Rock.
They're called FLVR cigars, and we just pronounce them Fulver because there's no vowels in the name. Those are really, really good flavored cigars. And yes, the M by Macanudo to me is probably among infused cigars the best, like infusion that doesn't trample on the flavor profile of the premium cigar tobacco. If you haven't had a Deadwood, you should definitely try them.
But if you're way into coffee, I would say the Nub Nuance.
Nub Nuance is
Ooh,
a
good
highly
choice.
popular one, but for me, If I'm going to go with an infused cigar, it's going to be, Spitfire says Nub Nuance. For me, it's Tabak Especial almost every time. I love Tabak Especial for a flavored cigar.
Yep.
Very, very flavored. So that coffee chocolate flavoring is a lot of what you're going to get in there. But also when you get a chance, if you feel like really experimental, you want to try something crazy, the Upsetters from Foundation
Yes.
is totally wild, totally different. None of us have recommended Acid, which is probably the most popular infused cigar out there. Yeah, Aaron Kim, thank you. Acid cigars. Acid are probably the most popular infused cigars out there. The Upsetters are very different. They're very much the flavor is a very like Caribbean style,
Which has Jamaican tobacco
which
in
does
it.
have Jamaican tobacco in it. It's the only cigar I know of today that uses a Jamaican tobacco.
Because the Hyde Park Cafe doesn't use Jamaican tobacco anymore, right? With Macanudo.
No, they used to. They used to. And Rooster says, yes, the Zola is fire. I'm sorry, I got rid of Billy's comment that said the Rose of Sharon Lancero.
Which
From
is a good
Grimm.
if you want to get out of infused. Rose of Sharon's a great gateway to not infused.
To traditional. I would also say El Rey del Mundo in both Obscuro and Shade
And
Grown.
we're going to talk about this. We can talk about it more in the after party if you guys want to, but there's a couple other Connecticut's that are like non-infused stuff. The Partagas Cortado, the
Yep.
Hoya de Nicaragua Antonio CT, it's a Connecticut one. Both of those cigars are outstanding Connecticut's that have
and
come
just
out.
happen to be part of the Viking Sleigh.
They do happen to be part of the Viking Sleigh, which you can learn more about on Cigars Daily Plus, which is where we're going to head right now for the after party. It's going to be dope AF. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to end the show here on YouTube, and we're going to go over to the Cigars Daily Plus community and continue the show there. Getting in is easy and free. It requires your name, a username, an email, and a password, and you're in. It's where you can find the best damn cigar content online for free, without any censorship. It's a beautiful thing. Otherwise, stay tuned next Tuesday for another great show. Have a great Christmas, everybody. This is Tim and the whole crew signing off. Viking Sleigh!
Merry Chrysler.
See you on the after party.
Bye-bye. Ho, ho, ho.